you know, teleSUR English is broadcasting the latest details about Chile's presidential election, a moment in history, and also that is a paramount election for the region. Also, to discuss the presidential elections underway in Chile, as we were saying this Sunday, we now welcome political analyst Arnold August. Arnold, be welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure to be with you once again.
To have you. So, Arnold, Chileans are faced with a choice between two very different candidates for president this Sunday. What can you tell us about each of them and the platforms they represent?
They're, quite opposite political platforms. If we start with Kast, as well known, he's a far-right candidate. He is offering the usual narrative against delinquency, against narco traffic, against terrorism, against migrants. He is against abortion. He is against the reduction of taxes on the most rich. Just to give you an idea. In addition to that, as you may know, the availability of water for the population in Chile is an important issue. And Kast happens to be, his family is sitting on a very important source of water. And when the code to renew the law on water came up, he did not vote in favor of that. So he's very well entrenched there, even in something as necessary as water. On the other hand, Boric is has a very wide coalition, including the Communist Party of Chile. He has stated openly that he's against the privatization of pensions. He is in favor of increasing the social rights of the people, increase the availability of water for the people. He is also in favor of reducing in a sort of step-by-step manner the student debts and many other such programs which are connected with him personally and also with the important uprising that took place in the fall of 2019. He sees himself, and I think rightly so, that whole coalition sees themselves as a continuation and as a very concrete expression of what took place in the fall of 2019. I would just like to emphasize that in the fall of 2019, it just wasn't a question of a few protests, a few demonstrations. In my view, it was actually an actual rebellion against the neoliberal order. We remember that slogan that came out from the streets in Chile, in Santiago de Cuba, that Chile despertó. Chile finally woke up. So this is, I think what is happening today, it's a continuation of what took place in October. But of course, there are very important dark clouds on the horizon. Since I've been watching the reporting from teleSUR in English and Spanish and other sources since this morning, it's very clear that the current government, has actually blocked the citizens from voting in the most popular areas, for example, in Santiago de Cuba, which is very left-leaning. How do they do that? By refusing to offer the transportation and the buses as it was agreed upon in order to facilitate people getting to the polls to vote. So this is really a major issue. It has sort of taken the spotlight not only on the differences between the two candidates, as I briefly outlined a few seconds ago. It is really what is going on. I don't want to exaggerate it, but what they are doing now with regards to stopping people, hindering people from voting in those areas that would vote for Boric is sort of, a coup d'etat, a slow motion coup d'etat, but before the new president even gets to Moneda, gets to the headquarters of the president. So, we have to keep on watching that out. But I think this is what's going on. I mean, it was quite telling. While we have all these reports coming in from the ground, even from CNN, they have to admit that the whole issue of the buses being stopped from going into these poor areas to allow people to vote While Piñera, the actual president, the outgoing president, will say everything is going well. Transportation is going well. So the fact that he does not admit that is what the situation is, it is a very bad signal of what is going to happen. I also read some statements from supporters of Cast, in which they openly say we are going to do everything to spoil the ballots that vote, people who voted in favor of Boric, in a sense that if a ballot looks to be just a bit off, a scratch here or something secondary there, they go, oh, that vote is not valid. And those, of course, are votes in favor of Boric. But what is important to take into account? They're saying this openly, and the actual they're actually doing it. The refusal of the government and the transport ministry to offer those buses for voting is being done openly for the whole world to see. So what is going to happen in the next couple of hours is very hard to say, but I think, I don't want to exaggerate, but it is sort of a slow motion coup. Of course, Boric is not another Allende, but we have to keep this in mind. This is Chile, and they are used to, the bourgeoisie there, supported by US imperialism, are used to using any means necessary in order to stop a progressive candidate from being installed in the presidential palace, in the La Moneda.
So, Arnold, the time is not on our side, so we have to put a stop, a halt in our conversation, but we thank you because of your presence and your criteria here in From the South.
Thank you.